And welcome to the show, everybody. West Side. What's going on, Enrique?
West. How'd you do that again?
I don't know. I just did that. Whatever. Anyway.
West Side.
Whatever. West Side. How's it going? How's everyone's Saturday doing? Pretty good?
It's better than last Saturday. Last Saturday was a sad day. Today is less sadder.
My nuts itch.
Ew. Ew. Brother, ew.
Yeah, that one.
Brother, ew.
Wait, okay.
This?
So
What's this, brother?
I've seen that video, but what's the origins of it? Do you know?
So he's he's a Muslim televangelist. He does
I've seen that
recordings, and so there is a longer version of it, and that's his shtick. He goes on.
He's disgusted by stuff.
No, not that particular video, but his shtick is he's a Muslim televangelist. He talks the Quran. Is that the correct thing? He talks the Quran, and that's what he does. But that particular clip is the best.
I salute you.
He's all, ew, brother, ew.
I know. He's like,
what's this? What's this, brother?
Yeah,
brother, ew. And he does like it's
that thing. Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm still feeling the blues. There's a dark cloud. Rain.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
See, you're singing the sound. I was like,
time to
raindrops keep falling on my head.
Or you could have gone with
just
sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Sorry,
bro, you zesty today, man. You keep on talking about your nuts.
It's the monster.
It's the. I bet it's your monster.
It's my monster,
brother.
Ew. Anyway, Enrique, you're good, right? Everything good now?
Yeah.
Monkey, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your dad here being zesty, man? Look at him with righteous indignation or utter creepy shame. You'd be like,
trust me, he's the one who goes, brother, ew, father, ew, father, ew. Anyway, good stuff. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this stupid video. We're still working with it. We're still working with the set and all that. Don't worry about it.
It's gonna change.
Everything's changing. Like
right now, this is like so temporary. But I mean, dude, it feels like we should have been doing this years ago.
It's harder to do with 4. It's easier to do with 2.
That's true, actually. Because how would we fit all 4 in the frame?
It would have to be.
Wouldn't work.
It would have to be multi-camera.
Yeah,
and
I do it.
You guys make me work too hard, dude. I gotta stop.
You know what, though, man? But you do it for you.
This is not for me. This is for you. This is for you guys.
We could fit one more, like if you think.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we already have.
I know you can fit one more
behind, like our producer back here. And we just need to like. What we could do is one move to the side, one in the middle.
Oh no, we can do 3. Yeah, 4 is the issue.
We got to get a guest here, man.
Well, actually, you know what? I've been thinking about it, and I can actually fit 4 now. That's what she said.
Cochino.
Anyway, and then of course we have our merchandise. Remember? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mug life up there.
Get a mug life
or crap in a hat, whatever.
Yeah, please buy stuff because we're poor. Make us less poor, but
just enough to keep the lights on.
Dude, I mean,
turn them off.
They've got so many. I have like so many shows that I'm going to. You guys got to fund my shows, man. I'm going to go watch Space Hog.
Oh, they're still together?
You know what? They haven't toured in years, like 14 or 13 years. And they just out of nowhere announced a show, swooped in and bought my tickets to that.
Fun fact, when I used to watch Conan O'Brien when he had the late night show, I used to love his musical guests. Some of the best ones came out of there that I heard. And then Space Hogs, the first time I heard of Space Hogs was on Conan O'Brien.
Okay.
Also, Weezer was on Conan O'Brien the first time. Like this is on the Blue album, the first one. And the funny thing is, like when Space Hogs came on and I listened to them, like that band is gonna blow up. They're gonna be the best ever. They're gonna be superstars. Like I thought it was gonna be like the new U2 basically. And when Weezer came out, I'm like, cute, but they're not gonna last.
Right.
Flip flop.
You suck. No, the Space Hog is one of those underrated bands.
Yeah, I agree.
The lead singer sounds like David Bowie, and he's got a. Really
That's exactly why I like them. Yeah. Bowie's my boy. For me, it's Bowie, Gilmore, and Mercury. Those are my 3 main.
Okay.
And Elvis.
So right now, Ghost, the band that Mug, they just announced a new tour. Although they're only going to hit San Diego. It's like, what's up with that, man? Come on, come back to LA. We love you here. So naturally, I'm not going to watch it. But
You wouldn't go to San Diego for them?
I mean, yes and no. I don't think I'm going to do it this time. No, I'm going to
Really?
wait.
That's
I
fair.
feel like they're going to announce that something's in the pipeline, because what happened was the tour was announced before the new song came out, which is called Satanized. And in that video, they announced the new Papa. Like, if you look at this guy, this is
Yeah, he's wearing purple and the new one are blue.
he's known as Terso. They're all played by the same guy, Tobias Forge. But this particular version of the Papa, he was Terso, and he was like a younger guy.
His name is Toby.
And then you have this guy here. This guy was the second. Was it? Am I missing him around? No, he's the third one, I believe. Yeah, he's the third one, and I think he's the second one. I could be wrong. Gosh, my ghost lore is messed up. And then there's the current one was Copia, Cardinal Copia, and he just recently stepped down. Again, all played by the same guy. So now the new one was announced in the video, Satanized, and his name is Perpetua. I don't know what that's about. The lore's still not out. You just can see he has like this like metal kind of skull mask on. He looks pretty cool. So and the music is looks like they're going very synthy, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So that's a band that I'm excited about. I'm also going to watch Oasis in September. Let's see who else. I'm watching Papoose, which is one of my current favorite indie bands. They're a little bit. You can see that. You can listen to them. They almost sound like bossa nova meets like old French, like but with a very modern kind of synth feel.
Or is it like kind of like what's her name? Bibi, the like Old Town Project? Is that what it is?
Oh man, I would. We'll listen to them off air, and you tell me what you think. But they're great. Like
You've played them for me before, no?
Yeah, I might have. I mean, their
so.
album right there. I have like.
Yeah, right behind me.
And it's a great album, great band. Dude, I got so many other ones. Stereophonics, I'm going to watch that.
Stereophonics.
I'm going to rewatch Ginger Root again. Ginger Root's another one. He was popular on Instagram and on TikTok for a song called Loretta.
I'm still mad that La Femme came around and I was not able to watch them, or not going to be able to watch them.
Who?
I love La Femme. I've played them before in the air, but I can't. YouTube.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I really regret not seeing Metallica at the YouTube theater a few months ago. The tickets were like $700 for these like nosebleed seats.
I've seen them so many times. I'm done with that. Been there, done that.
Never seen them. Never seen them.
I don't know about them now, but I saw them in the Justice for All tour.
Wow.
I saw them.
Yeah, your brother took you to that.
Yeah,
That was
I saw
forever
them.
ago.
I saw them at the Black tour, of course, the Black album. I saw them for the Black album. Actually, I saw them I think like 4 times.
Dude, you were like a baby, man. How
I was a hardcore Metallica fan. I don't know. Wasn't what 92, 93? And I was hardcore. And then I saw them in San Diego.
You're
at
barely
some
a wart in
restaurant.
your
It was-
dad's nutsack.
I know, right? I saw them. I actually saw them at the Coliseum with Guns N' Roses and that big tour that they did.
Oh, the one that caused all the trouble?
Yeah, dude. Axl Rose was such a in that concert.
He screwed himself over. I wonder if he realizes that.
He does now, because if you notice when they do the tour now, they're like happy and he's like, hey guys, he's like totally different. He's gotten therapy, more power to him. Even though he looks like Mama Fratelli from the Goonies now, but
I've seen the
kudos.
I've seen the side by side video comparisons.
He does.
He so does.
You want to kill your mama?
Dude, that lady was the best. And do you remember her in
Throw Mama from the train? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, I remember her. Anyway, but I digress. On today's show, we're not talking about all that nonsense. We're actually going to talk about something that is important. Well, not important, but I mean, it's important to us. We're getting into the supernatural again, and the creepy EP and the UFO.
So what do you think, man? All that build up to UFO stuff was like a look at the birdie thing in order to like distract us from like the real dangers of our country.
Achtung! Yeah, definitely.
Hey, I send my heart out to you.
I'm sending my heart out. Yeah, stupid
That
moron.
bastard.
Alan and the Felon. What's the new acronym? That UFO is not the
UAP.
politically
UAP. Mm-hmm.
Unidentified Aerial Projectile, is it, or what is it?
I think so. I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Aerial projectile. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, what was wrong with unidentified flying object?
I think
Why the change?
I think the UFO was changed because it's too goofy. It's too goofy.
And UAP is so much better.
I think for the fact that the really resurgence of it was footage coming out from military test pilots and in order to try to hold on to some validity and not look cringy, I think the change was essential. I mean it was because UFO is a cringe acronym now.
So it went from flying saucer to Foo Fighter to UFO to UAP.
Wait, Foo Fighter? Explain.
Yeah, and that's
real.
That's real. That's where the name Foo Fighters come from. In World War II, there were reports of these UFOs, flying saucers, that would be around the war, the planes and bombers and all that, and both sides kept pointing fingers at each other. Oh no, it's theirs, and it's theirs. And they were even saying that there were the Chinese getting involved in doing their own experimental airplanes. So hence the term Foo Fighters, because they thought they were Chinese in origin.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until after the war when the Germans and the Americans, Axis and the Allies, were comparing notes, and they're like, yeah, well, you did this and you did this, and then they're like, oh yeah, well, what about your fighters over here? And like, that wasn't us. That was you.
That's bull.
That's bull. So when they were like, wait a minute, if that wasn't you, that wasn't me, who was it? That's when they started realizing, oh, crap.
It's like that Spider-Man. You?
Yeah.
You.
Yeah, it was one of those. And that kind of was, from what I remember, again, this is off the top of my head, that was the beginning of Project Blue Book. They started like archiving these reports from the war and started opening up Project Blue Book. And the term Foo Fighter came from that. Those wisps, or I also called them will-o-wisps. They also called Foo Fighters because it was a UFO. And that's the story behind the Foo Fighters. And there goes my hero. So yeah.
I never knew it. Dude, where in this awful head of yours do you keep all this information?
I regurgitate it. Some of it I make up, but it's pretty good.
So, let me just ask, do you believe in UAPs? And sorry, we're going to call them UAPs just because UFOs are too silly now. Do you believe in them?
I do not believe in UAPs. I believe in UFOs.
Oh my God, this guy.
And they're not going to change it.
All right, whatever, bro.
No, I do believe, I don't believe in every report. I've seen some weird, but I've seen some strange stuff. And I've had witnesses with me and we sit there and we're like, there's been some instances where we were like, okay, that could have been something else. Yeah, it could have been something else. And then we move on. But there's some stuff out there that, it's strange. It is strange. I think I've mentioned it on the podcast on one of the older UFO episodes, but when I was about 10 or 11, we were on Beverly Boulevard. There was a farmer's market. And I remember my dad used to have a Capri, the Capris that had the glass, like the sunroof that you could take off the panels on top. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there and I was waiting for them. And I'm just looking up and I remember seeing all the way in the distance when I had eyes that were actually decent that I could see without glasses. I saw these, like, they looked like Mylar balloons, but they were like in a ring formation, just like swirling really far up for a long time. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And then I don't remember them disappearing. But again, my memory is hazy. I was a kid, but I remember that clearly. And now, throughout the years, I was like, no, they were Mylar balloons. They probably like escaped from someone's birthday party and they got stuck in a little, like a air tornado, the like in turbulence up in the air. Cause there is turbulence. There's those like highways of air up there. So I probably got stuck in one of those and it was just like spinning around. But that was like my first kind of like, maybe there's something. There was another event in Coachella that stuck by me because it was not just witnessed by me, my mother, my father, but it was also witnessed by the other drivers on the highway. There was, for like 30 minutes straight, there was this weird light that kept playing with us where it would be blinking up and really high up and then moving around, zigzagging through the sky. And that thing was pretty interesting because we were like, what the hell's going on? And then also that's when we noticed that there were a couple of like white trucks and white cars that were like following it wherever it would go into like the desert. They would go off the trail and we were following it. So I don't know if it was just people being looky-loos, but they were all white vehicles. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I don't think, I can't recall any real experience like that with my own eyes seen where I can say, that was a credible UFO sighting. But growing up as a kid, loving science fiction, I always grew up with the idea and the fascination that the science was there for there to be other life on other planets. Carl Sagan, I used to watch, his show on
Bob Lazar.
PBS, and Bob Lazar was an interesting guy. I didn't believe him back in the 90s. I didn't. I didn't believe the stuff that he had put out.
I'm with you on that one.
However,
back then,
when he did that thing on Joe Rogan, and man, lately I've not been a big fan of Joe Rogan, but I did like his old stuff, and I liked that particular podcast where he had him on, and it was really convincing. I was very, very convinced, and going into some of the follow-up research and stuff like that, it just seemed really compelling. I'm a skeptic by nature. Mm-hmm. I always look for like the holes in stories, and so I know that there's a bias in me that leans me towards wanting to believe it. So I try to check that when I can, as much as I can.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the stuff he said is credible, particularly the stuff to the biometric. He predicted biometrics back in the 90s and saying that that's what they were using, in order to let themselves into these facilities. And when he talked about how compartmentalized like these experiments that were happening, and how each person only had access to certain information, and when they did exchange notes, which was really rare, like the stuff that they exchanged just kind of made sense to what we believe now to be certain technologies, and how it would be possible in order to traverse like space. The thing that really gets me down is when you hear more credible scientists now, and they talk about how impossible it would be, like, to cross the vast amount of space that we would need in order to get from here to another galaxy.
With our technology.
But even without breaking the current laws of physics and science that we have available to us. Mind you, that's where the possibility lies, where there's certain aspects of science that we don't have all the answers, and so I'm open-minded to that much. But again, I don't want to be like any other conspiracy theorists and say, oh no, just because we don't know that means it's not true. I do think that there has to be a point where I have to check myself and my bias.
Right. No, it makes sense.
It
makes sense.
Particularly in these times now, I mean, it's hard not to talk about this without talking about our current political kind of environment and our current societal environment, where people are just like fake news everywhere, misinformation, biases. Everyone wears their opinion now on their sleeve, and there's no longer any real critical thinking happening. Yeah. You can hear it. You can even hear it in sort of like, there's this theory that people who study cults have talked about it since the 60s. It's called limiting perspective. Maybe that's not the actual name of it, but the premise goes like this, Angel. It's when somebody tells you a fact, you, like, for example, let's say a COVID fact. They say, oh, well, certain vaccines don't work. And then you tell them, well, no, here's the evidence. And they'll say, oh, don't let fear, don't let fear guide you. Like that phrase was used a lot during the pandemic, right? 5 years in the past, but used a lot.
Yeah.
That was meant to shut down any sort of like critical thinking beyond that. Or let's say, somebody says, well, like the earth is flat. No, it's not. It's round. Well, you need to do your own research. When they say do your own research, that's a limiting opinion. It's basically meant to shut down your critical thinking skills.
Or the new one, use your common sense.
Right. Use your common sense, because common sense somehow, means that common sense somehow means that we're going to get to the truth through using common sense, and that's not proven. Yes, common sense can save us from like not cutting our fingers off when we're dealing with sharp objects or around heavy machinery,
or running with scissors.
Sure. Or how we spend our money. But common sense needs to be girded by facts. It needs to be sustained by actual research, and also opening your mind up to the possibility that common sense is only as good as our current or limiting ignorance.
But the funny part is, most people that use those terms are the ones that are not open. They're not open to keeping an open mind. They're not open to actually evidence. They're like, they've already made up their mind because of their feelings, and then that's it. That's all it is. They're not going to believe in any of it.
Yeah, one of my favorite phrases, and it became popular to me in 2016 was, your facts don't care about your feelings, right? And it was meant to be like a battle cry, like by the conservative, like for example Ben Shapiro, in order to like fight this idea that liberalism was all based on emotion, right? Which historically speaking, you know, if you're like a Democrat and by sense progressive, you care more about the human experience and human condition. And if you're conservative, you more care about government and money. And so those two sides are they're going to always not get along on certain things. But when you moved into this current time now, where even the conservatives are fighting an emotional battle. That's how they were able to get a ground base to believe in what they believe, and how to get them to vote against their better interest or best interest is by getting them to be emotionally charged. Facts, you know, don't care about your feelings actually it's the same as saying, you know, use your common sense, I think. So to bring it back to UFOs, I think that common sense, like, it tells us that, you know, at least here, if you're a Christian, then there is no UFOs, because, you know, common sense tells you that God, you know, this is the center of the galaxy, and that's that, right? But if you're a scientist, common sense tells you that it's a big universe, and so life has to have grown somewhere else. So that's a very difficult thing.
Life finds a way. Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, I believe
in miracles right now. You stop the thing.
You know what, dude? Speaking of which, sorry, you see, you always do this to me, man, because my brain is just ADHD. Because when you did that, all I started thinking is what's his name in Boogie Nights?
Mark Wahlberg?
No, the really great Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh.
When he played that one character, and that song comes on when he walks into that really famous pool scene.
Yeah.
And as he's walking, and he's wearing the tightest like tank top, and he just looks so zesty in this, and so he walks in and he has his sunglasses and he sees Mark Wahlberg coming out of the water, and that's when the song comes like, I believe in miracles, and he's like takes off his glasses and he's like this, and dude, he gets like, he's like, and I'm just like, what's happening here? You sex a thing. I believe in miracles.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so
I put that thought in your head.
You just ruined my UFO talk by like, I'm just thinking of that now.
Or improved.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman. That guy was the best.
He was.
Great actor.
Okay, so
cheers to him, sir.
So yeah.
By the way, cheers to you to what, fourth episode now?
I salute you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so back into UFO. So currently, where we're at is that like at least up until last year, there were a lot of talk in the government of releasing information, and a lot of the information did seem to be new. But the one that was the most compelling was that one general who kept on saying, "Well, I can tell you off camera, but I can't tell you on camera." When they would ask him direct questions about certain things, I forget what the what there were some studies that he was referring to. So essentially there is more information that's official that we just don't have access to.
Right.
And supposedly the Trump administration was going to release this stuff. It hasn't happened yet. Obviously we got the next 3 years to, you know, unless our democracy falls apart, in order to get this stuff.
But they did give us a great infomercial on the White House lawn to buy Tesla.
Yeah. Dude, what the hell?
Come down to Crazy Donnie's.
Dude, when they were sitting in
buy a Tesla.
When they were sitting in the car, and then he's like talking, dude, like literally,
it looked like Dumb and Dumber. It really did look like Dumb and Dumber.
And then Trump has like has a sheet, and it has like the models and the prices. It's like, what the? We are living in the stupidest timeline.
It is idiocracy. It is idiocracy, dude. Yeah.
And dude,
brought to you by Carl's Jr.
And then our like as a progressive and as a Democrat, the only serotonin levels that are being hit by people is by hearing how the Tesla stock is falling, and how like Mexico and Italy are recalling their Starlink contracts
As
and
did
stuff.
Canada.
Like I don't know ultimately what any of that means. I'm not smart enough to know. I just think it's like, damn, what's happening?
I wish I could move to Canada.
Yeah, and then people are gonna find out that like terraforming Mars is not really possible. So good luck on that front, Elon Musk. I want a Mars mission.
But, it is possible if you believe. That's my
I
Elon.
want a Mars mission. I do.
I do, but not under this administration.
Now I really don't want.
Monkey, if I were to move the family to Canada, would you be okay with that?
Probably not.
Dude, maybe you can go to the grassy high. Man, there's a lot.
I mean, Canada looks nice to live there, but it's just I don't want to leave anyone here.
We could bring Andre.
But have you seen, dude? Show him the grassy high. I grew up watching that, and I wanted to live in Canada. Like when I was right now, I'm an old man, so I can't really be saying like how pretty the girls were. But at my age, back in the 90s,
they aged with you, so
they did. Those were there were some beautiful girls in my age, and now them older. Those girls have turned into beautiful women, and I would have loved to have gone to the grassy high. I'm just saying. So hey, maybe you can go to the grassy high.
When you say it,
by the way, it's not a real high school. But
I know, but the way you say it, it sounds like you're saying the grassy high, not the grassy.
The grassy,
like the grass, like the grassy hill.
I got you. I just, you know what? Shut up.
Anyways, abort. Back to our talk about UFOs. So you are a believer. I'm a believer to an extent. I think that 80% of the stories that are out there are crap, to tell you the truth. I don't believe them. Like, I don't know, like, Roswell I do believe in, but not the whole story that they're talking about or anything. What are their names? The Hills? The Hills?
Yes.
Betty and... Wait, I got a note here. Hold on.
Well,
Betty and Barney Hill.
Barney Hill.
I think, yeah.
I'm thinking.
Barney Rubble?
No.
Barney Fife?
No, like that British show, Benny.
Benny Hill. Benny Hill. That's what I wanted to say. That's why I was like, wait, Betty and what's his name? Because I'm like,
We're so bad.
I'm hearing yakety sack in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's not it.
Oh, man.
But anyway, yeah, like I believe in them, that they believe that they saw something. I've heard some other stories that are pretty interesting, but on the whole, like for instance, those ones where like I got abducted and I got like anally probed and it's always some weird like uneducated guy from like the back countries is like, and then they put it in me, you know, like.
Say it again. You had that twang in your voice.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So Alan, come here, you know, like the whole thing, and like but some of them are insane, like okay, I know Mothman prophecies kind of ties into UFOs. I know there's the little goblins from you know those little goblins that attacked a farm or something. Remember that one? Mm-hmm. That one is kind of interesting. That weird spaded long one that they got in with the big glowing eyes, and it had like a spade kind of collar.
No,
that's a famous one from the 50s too.
Really?
Yeah, or the one where it's actually like it looks like he's wearing like the radiation suit from Back to the Future. There's another one that came out like that in the 1940s. That one was pretty interesting. Like there's all these different ones, but I'm just like, I don't know if I believe them. I want to believe them. I just don't believe.
What about those gnomes in Mexico? Or where is it from?
Oh no!
Gnomes. I believe. I believe in duendes. Yeah.
Duendes. Is that,
yeah. I do believe in some. We've talked about that. Not all of them, but there's some stuff out there that is
okay, dude. Like okay, there's always talk about the archipelagos, Appalachia.
Appalachian Mountains.
Appalachian
Mountains.
So apparently in the Appalachian Mountains, there's a lot of like weird stuff that happens there. That's kind of, you know, all of this I hear because of all the Instagram, like the creepy pasta stuff and yeah. So dude, and by the way, skinwalkers, I don't believe in
no. There's no such skinwalkers.
There's no such thing as skinwalkers.
Okay, skinwalkers is the new trend. Okay, that's only been around for the last God knows how many years, and then people believe in these skinwalker things. Get off it. It's not real. It's not real. It's not a thing. Okay, fake news, as they say. It's not. I don't know why it started trending, but that is so annoying to me. As much as those shows that were around like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they're like In Search of Bigfoot kind of thing, where they're like, "What is that?
So okay, so here
It's like, dude, stop.
going back to like abductions. I remember like in the late 80s, early 90s, a lot of the abduction stories from all the different tabloids. And it made sense to me. Like if you're an alien and you abduct humans, the sort of probing and the things that you would do in order to, monitor, and it falls in line with the theory that, there's two theories. One, either UFOs are here or UAPs are here to observe us
UFOs.
because we're an independently evolving species, and they've achieved the ability to come and observe us, just like any observation we would do on animals that we discover in other continents, right? So that makes some sense. Or the other theory is that they're basically
They're harvesting our nuts.
No. Leave my nuts alone. Leave them alone. And so what they're doing is they're checking in on us because somehow they're a cedar species which created us, and they're guiding our evolution. And I don't believe that.
I've seen Stargate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny because what I find funny of the abduction ones is
Prometheus. Have you seen? That's
Prometheus. Yeah.
Prometheus.
Yeah.
That's the
I
premise
love
of
Prometheus, except for that whole Charlize Theron death, which was stupid. It's like, run that way.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid.
But other than that, I mean,
and but in Prometheus, the premise is that this species from another planet would send out experiments to try to create a species that was in their image,
engineers, yeah.
which is very much it's very much the Christian allegory of Jesus, right? So they send a delegation here, and the species ends up turning on that guy, and essentially the crucifixion. And so when the humans finally evolved to be able to traverse space, and they come across the engineers encampment, it turns out that particular installation was about to send essentially a biological weapon to our planet to kill us, but they were killed by their own experiments. So therefore, when they wake up that engineer, he recognizes us for what we are and sets in motion that particular potential Holocaust. I mean, it's a trippy movie.
It's a great movie. There's also I know you're not a big Star Trek guy, but there's an old episode from the 90s from Star Trek: The Next Generation where it's they basically kind of talk about how there's these progenitors of the species that was long millennium extinct.
The progenitors are the reason why all the species have a very humanoid.
Correct.
Thing, right?
They went from planet to planet seeding to try to change the evolution stuff.
Well, I'm not a huge Star Trek fan in the general sense. Like the original Next Generation, I did watch. There was some great stuff, but it never held me. I did end up liking Discovery. I did watch.
Discovery was great.
I watched Discovery.
Picard was great the last season.
I watched Picard. What was the other one that What was the other one besides that?
Strange New Worlds?
That one I didn't watch.
That one's campy but fun.
But I know that they
Lower Decks is
they
fun.
revisited the progenitors.
The progenitors in Discovery and Discovery in the last season, yeah. So the progenitors, when you see the original, it's actually it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. Because one thing that always bugged me about Star Trek was the fact that how come all the aliens were humanoid looking? Like there was never like these weird like Farscape. Did you watch Farscape?
Yes, of course. Love it.
I love it. You know how they have different species and they're like actually like different shapes and stuff?
Yeah.
That's how I picture aliens to be.
It's gonna be
something like that. It's not gonna be like, humanoid. It's not like you're gonna go and like, sure, want that Martian. It's not gonna be like that.
Speaking of
our
which,
parts are not even gonna connect.
That's part like earlier when I said how the two theories, as far as like aliens, either they've been able to just observe us because they're able to traverse the galaxy, or two, they're progenitors. I'll use that term. They're progenitors who are controlling our evolution. That's actually one evidence towards that being true. There's the fact that whenever they talk about like the alien species that are abducting people, like eyewitness accounts, they always have 2 legs and they have
all
3
humanoid
or 4 fingers or something like that. What do you call them? The grays?
The grays, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's so funny in Babylon 5. There's an episode because Babylon 5.
I still got to get on Babylon 5.
Dude, it's such a great.
I know. I've seen clips. I'm sold. I just don't have the time.
In Babylon 5, the ship is supposed to be like a floating embassy where all the different species come in order to avoid war, because the show begins at the tail end of a galactic war in which the human race was almost going to become extinct by this Minbari race. Well, anyways, there's a court that's happening, and there's a court session that's happening, and essentially it's a guy who is suing a gray alien for the trauma that was done to his family, like several
it's hilarious.
before of abduction that no one believed. And it turns out that this guy's family, or actually no, this guy is actually the one who abducted him, and he's in court. And it's just like this little side part that
hilarious.
I really wish we could have gotten more of it. It cracks me up every time I see that. It cracks me
funny.
up.
That is too funny.
Because can you imagine, like, I don't know, like 500 years from now, we actually have, made connection, and what's the first thing we're gonna do? We're gonna sue them. How dare you put that thing in my butt?
I've heard another theory about what the grays are and all that they're us from like another dimension or future. I've heard that one, and they're here because there's genetics of ours that they require to keep the species going.
That's an interesting theory.
I mean, I don't know if it's true, how.
I mean, it's
fantastical, but I mean, all of them are. But that's interesting, because then maybe that would explain why they don't have genitalia. And maybe we've evolved to the point where we're kind of sterile beings that we have to take genetics from our ancestors because whatever reason to keep the race going. I have no idea, but it's interesting.
What a great movie that would make.
It's a circle. But there's
Interstellar. That's the thing. Like, supposedly.
Oh, right.
Our in our evolutionary species now, we're able to become a multi-dimensional species, and that's the only way we can connect with our passes through that. And that's
ribbon, the time ribbon or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah. That was I saw that movie not so long ago for the first time. I enjoyed it. I think it was a good movie.
I wish I could have seen it in IMAX.
Me too. Nolan films have to be on IMAX. It's just the way they're shot. They have to be on IMAX to really, really like enjoy them. You know what? You could actually use your Oculus to watch them, and it's that IMAX type screen.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's another theory that I thought. But it always makes me laugh when I hear the abduction stories which have died down, by the way. They were big in the 80s and 90s, where it's always this person who's always like, and then I made love to the alien, and I had a child, and the child, they took it away. And it's like, you ain't special, dude.
Well, there's a famous story from China, and it does involve an abduction. And I don't have the full details, but I can read you like a summary of the story itself. Yeah. And I may mispronounce the name of the guy, but
of course you will.
So in 1994, this Chinese timber worker named Meng Shangao claimed that he had repeated encounters with aliens, including sexual contact and a visit to their spaceship. Now, his story involving a tall, six-fingered female alien, it involves a levitation experience and a prediction about his future son, gained significant attention during China's UFO craze of the 1990s. And by the way, that was a world craze because we all went through it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, X-Files really was like the culmination of all that. So despite widespread skepticism, some UFO enthusiasts and even researchers believed Meng, citing evidence like scorch marks at the alleged landing site and a malfunctioning Geiger counter in his home. Mind you, dude, I mean, I think it was proven that he lives like near or had some contact with nuclear products, so who knows? And it says here, his story, which also included witnessing the comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 impact on Jupiter, became China's most famous UFO sighting, turning Phoenix Mountain into a pilgrimage site. So while scientists dismiss Meng's claims, his insistence on the story, even passing a lie detector test, kept the tale alive. Today, although China's UFO fever has subsided, Meng's story remains a popular topic amongst enthusiasts, and serious research into extraterrestrial life continues with advanced tools like FAST technology, that's FAST. Meng's message emphasizes the need for humanity to protect Earth. I mean, at the end, that's kind of cool. I like that ultimately his whole thing is like he saw that our species is on the verge of an extinction, and he's saying we need to protect our species. And it's a message I don't think it's ever going to sink in, because we're doing a really great job of like screwing ourselves over. And I think ultimately that, I think, by the way, is really the driving point of any like search up to the stars. You know, when we look up to the stars, when we try to envision our future, we know that our planet is not infinite, it's finite, and we believe we can sense our extinction. And so these sort of look to the stars moments is us trying very hard to warn ourselves and try to hope for a better future for us to exist, because dude, man, again, we're doing a great job of destroying ourselves.
We're not gonna last, dude. Seriously,
We ain't gonna make it.
it's gonna be like in the future, like how we look at Mars right now. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, Earth. Look at there used to be civilization too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's no evidence on that one. There's no. I mean, it's just.
Other than like the Geiger counter stuff. I mean, although okay, so
But it's China. Like they probably had some like something in the past there that had.
so this
radiation.
idea. So he described, as I understand it, he described a comet hitting Jupiter, but no, there wasn't common knowledge of it until later. They were able to find that there was a comet named Shoemaker Levy 9 that impacted Jupiter, and we weren't able to see it until later, and so
Right.
he wouldn't have access to that. So that's now, dude, could he have gotten lucky? Sure,
Yeah.
Of course.
Might have been luck. Like my son's
but excuse me,
dozing off.
but that is a kind of sign for people, like as far as evidence goes.
Yeah.
So,
Now there's another one that has evidence. Have you ever heard of Billy Meyer?
no.
Billy Meyer was a big. My brother taught me about Billy Meyer back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Billy Meyer was a guy who had supposedly had a bunch of run-ins with UFOs and these celestial beings that were these beautiful blonde aliens. And he started
I'm
his,
sensing the trend here. Female. It's,
yeah, beautiful blonde aliens. He started a community, like a UFO religion. That's in German or something, but it's called the
course he
Free
did.
Community of Interest for the Borders of Spiritual Science and Ufology Studies.
Send me your daughters.
Yeah.
Send me your daughters. We will save them.
He called them plegerans. That's what they called themselves. The
Plegerans.
plegerans. Okay, and he was obsessed with these things, and he actually posted like a lot of video footage and pictures of supposedly that he could basically contact them and have them show up on film, and he would take pictures. And he had like drawings and all these sketches of these beautiful aliens, elongated aliens with glowing locks of hair that are almost glass-like blonde hair. And supposedly like he fathered a child with one of these, and it became like a ambassador to space and all this other nonsense. Turns out that, you know, with time, people were like, well, the Billy Meyer photographs, as great as they look, or the video that he had as great as it looked, it was all a hoax. It was all, I think there were parts of a chicken coop that he was using to make the UFOs. I don't remember all the details, but it was basically just BS. But that's how I feel that most of those abduction stories are. It's some poor lonely person who has this sexual fantasy of making love to this, I don't know, extraterrestrial beautiful being because he's special or she's special. There was one in Manhattan who supposedly she was, back in the 80s and 90s, she was being abducted and she was making love to this alien and had an offspring. Sweet, sweet alien love.
I believe in miracle.
Right now. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know about abductions. I mean, I do believe there might be some abductions for different reasons. Like, I do believe the Travis Walton story, you know, like from Fire in the Sky.
Well, is it possible? Okay, I mean, just to just to sort of go down this path, is it possible that they've already done enough research and now there is no longer any need to do this because we've essentially put we've become a digital age, and getting this information for them is probably much more easier. They essentially have access to all our medical technology and everything. I can see them now having access to our digital information grid, right, because it's all in the cloud, right? And so basically the reason why we have a ramp up in sightings now, because it's less about the abductions, and so that's minimal. We don't hear about those anymore.
Yeah.
But sightings are still happening because now they're much more interested in how probably more self-destructive we're becoming, and they can really observe it.
Could be.
And it also makes sense that a lot of these observations are coming from military sites, so they're keeping an eye on our nuclear stuff, and they're
Yeah, there's been reports like at the Edwards Air Force Base, some UFO
Right.
stuff there.
Actually, I have a thing here about that. That's interesting. So
Oh,
apparently,
funny enough.
the Edwards Air Force Base.
I swear I wasn't looking over there.
It says here there's going to be one going to be held on May 15th. It's coming up, and the specific meeting location will be publicized after it's determined. So this is still actually going to happen. So the meeting is supposed to be part of them talking about I guess they're renovating the plants, but they're the plant that they have growing there because they have a nuclear plant there.
Yeah.
Now, apparently there has been some sightings. So let me see. Let me read you this first. Okay, so this guy named Avi Loeb, he did a statement about UAPs, particularly those that were presented to a oversight committee.
Yeah.
And so I only have the bullet points. So that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
So emphasis on scientific investigation. So Loeb strongly advocates for a scientific approach to studying UAPs, emphasizing the need for high quality data. And he believes that scientific tools and methods are essential to determining the nature of this phenomena, because right now as it stands, all we have is that shaky camera stuff and whatever is being kept from us, but it's really not, there's not anything super scientific because
right.
People like Neil Tyson deGrasse can kind of refute some of that stuff just on the grounds of visual evidence.
Right.
Now it says he's the interstellar objects and extraterrestrial possibilities. It says here that he highlights the importance of investigating objects that may originate from outside of our solar system, such as the interstellar meteor that his team has investigated. And Loeb stresses that even if only a small percentage of UAPs are of extraterrestrial origin, the implications clearly would be profound. He calls for transparency and funding. Everything's about money. He urges greater transparency from the government regarding the UAP information, and he wants an increased federal funding for that. I mean, but in this climate, how are we going to get money?
We can't even get an education fund.
Unless you have Elon Musk's direct number. You heard about that? When Republican congressmen were complaining that their constituents were upset about certain programs being closed. He's like, no, you can call me and I'll check into it. So that's cool. We have one guy who's now bigger than the Congress. Forget the Congress, people we voted for.
Well, he bought it. He bought the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny.
Well, anyway, so it says here the importance of seeking truth. Okay. So he expresses that the search for the truth of these phenomena is extremely important to the progression of humanity. So there's a big proclamation. And he also relates his work to the work of past scientists like Copernicus and Galileo and how they changed the understanding of our place in the universe. It's true, like Copernicus and Galileo. Copernicus, they created the way we were able to see the galaxy through telescopes, and then making the, moving our model from the Earth being the center of the galaxy to the solar system.
Right.
The sun being the center of the galaxy, and we rotate around it. And it took a lot of fighting for people to believe that, because it was very anti-God. At least that's what they believed.
And now we're circling back because a lot of people are starting to believe that again. That's not the truth.
Yeah. So
flat earthers.
And so, like I said, I don't have specifics on the Loeb stuff, but essentially all of this is predicated by the fact that there have been more sightings at on a governmental level, a lot more military installations have been getting first eyewitnesses and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where the idea comes that they're monitoring that UAPs are monitoring our ability to do war on ourselves and others.
Yeah, that's believable. That's believable because there's a lot of video evidence where around nuclear sites or big events like that there are some. I'm sorry, I'm still calling them UFOs flying around caught in camera.
There's this video online somewhere that shows I guess it's more of a dramatization, but it shows that prior to I want to say 1950 or 1960, our planet was relatively quiet, right? And so it shows the sort of the information that was coming out of our planet. You had the stray radio wave, but those don't really, really make that much noise.
Right.
But now, dude, we're like a Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
We're lit up. Like we're sending out nuclear information out all the time. We're sending out radiation. We're sending out Wi-Fi signals, and all of this is just radiating
And radio.
out of our planet. Yeah. Exactly, radio, and then of course things that are all the debris that's floating around our planet now because of satellites and what have you. We're noisy, so it makes sense that like if a species, alien species, is able to traverse the galaxy, they're gonna now see and hear this noise.
Yeah, but I mean, what I find kind of not odd but concerning is the fact that we're not picking up anything from anywhere else. There was the wow signal, but then that's been disproven. We haven't gotten made any contact. Now, what if there is someone who's keeping an eye on us? Are we going to go the way of Mars attacks and they're just going to like come after us and like kill us all, or Independence Day and stuff like that, or
man? So,
or is it going to be like V, where they come down and they pretend they're our friends, but they just want to harvest us for our bodies?
Stephen King, dude, or Stephen King. Sorry, Stephen King.
Stephen King.
I'm thinking of Stephen Kang from the last episode.
The Shark in the Fields.
Shark in the Fields.
Sharks in the cornfields. Brought to you by the OUCHCAST.
No, what's his name? Oh my gosh! Like now, all I can think of Stephen King. What's his name? There are
Kennedy.
Yeah,
Bobby Kennedy Jr.
No.
What's his name?
Guys, the paraplegic scientist. What is wrong with my brain today?
Stephen Hawking.
That's the one.
Jesus Christ.
Stephen.
Do you know who I am? Are you having a stroke?
Hold on, let me put. Okay, let's see. You heard that? Like, you have to see if you can raise your hand, and if it slumps, like it could be potentially you having like a. Whoa! Does your heart go out to the world?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, there, Elon, chill out. All right, so
I think
so. So he basically says that it's very dangerous, like us wanting to make contact with the species, because he equates to the Native Americans and the Aztecs making first contact with conquistadors, and look how well that went, right? And so,
look at my last name.
When and if we do make contact truly with a UAP, we're not going to meet them on equal footing.
Not at all. Not at all.
So they're socially not on our same level. They're technologically not on our same level. They're biologically not on our level. Dude, like I don't know how we stand a chance.
We don't. I mean, we don't. But then again, what would they want with our planet? Like, what would they want with us? There's nothing really of value to them that I can think about here if they're that advanced. Unless it's like minerals and resources like that, water.
Well, in the last episode, we talked about that movie, Battlefield...
Los Angeles?
Battlefield Earth or Battlefield Los Angeles?
No, Battlefield Earth is the John Travolta movie with L. Ron Hubbard, which, by the way, I enjoy. So shut up.
You can kiss my ass on that. That's a terrible movie. And I don't say that about a lot of movies, guys. There's no such thing as terrible movies except Battlefield Earth. That's a terrible movie.
I enjoy that movie. I think it's better than Star Wars.
Really? Are you part of the Sea Org?
No comment.
Dianetics? Are you going to
Those people are saints, man.
No, what was that famous footage? Remember when I think Kevin and Bean of K-Rock, the morning host of the K-Rock show back in the 90s and mid 2000s, they had they had these two celebrities, like a recording of these two celebrities who are Scientologists, saying they're saying, "Show me your truth," or oh gosh, what was her name?
I never followed Kevin and Bean.
Oh, you didn't? Mm-mm. Oh wow, no wonder you. And
you know what's funny? I did not follow Kevin and Bean, and I did not follow Mark and Brian. Like I didn't watch them guys. Yeah. But Mark Thompson, like I watched his show. He had a Mark in the Morning on 100.3 The Sound.
I don't know who Mark Thompson is.
From Mark and Brian.
Oh,
he came back and he did that show remotely. It was amazing. I love that show.
Okay.
And then he had a podcast called the Mark and Linda podcast, which was great.
Okay.
But he finished that one, and he's a radio god. He's a good chap.
Dude, I miss having talk radio. Like, remember there used to be an FM channel that had nothing but that stuff.
Yeah, it was great.
I miss that stuff.
When you had Tom Leykis, when you had Frosty, Heidi, and Frank, Howard Stern, and all that stuff. I mean, Howard Stern is cringy now when you look back at it.
Man, can you
Tom
imagine
Leykis was terrible, man. But I used to hate listen.
Yeah. Yeah, he was
I used to
pretty garbage.
hate listening to that.
Hey,
Like,
what
he was
were those
human
two-
pile of dung.
What were those two guys that would come on in the night? They were part of that whole thing. And it was these two guys, and they did like a show from like 6 or 7 o'clock to like 10 o'clock at night or something. Or I forget what their name.
Oh,
They were pretty good, but they also, dude, most of these like talk show people have the same personality. You can tell that they were like staunch conservative, like bros, like
yeah,
frat
and they
bros.
went into shock jock stuff
Yeah.
as well. So yeah.
But anyways, back
We
to,
need more of those. We need a paranormal UFO talk show. That's what we need.
not it.
Not it. Not it. I wouldn't be able to get through it.
I don't think so either, man. I'm looking as we're talking about morning talk
I
shows.
believe in miracles. Come on, dude. It's not gonna work on the radio.
I mean,
it doesn't even work on this show.
We're down to the 54-minute mark or something like that. So you know that we're struggling here.
I'm done.
I'm done.
No, I'm just kidding. But before we go, okay. Mac and me versus ET. Who would win?
What garbage question is that?
Mac and me versus ET. Who would win?
Well, you know, I want to know Mac tonight. I throw him in the mix,
Still
man.
said Mac tonight.
I want Big Macs.
I told you the story about my Mac tonight costume, right?
You had a Mac tonight costume.
Yeah, I have pictures.
He really he's laughing.
Yeah, because I told him the story. I told him the story.
All right, tell me the story. I want to
So
hear it.
when I was a kid, my mother and brother used to make me like they would be like, "What do you want to be for Halloween?" I was always big on Halloween, so I always would throw them these
Hey, you're still
curveballs.
big now.
I'm still big in your weenie. Anyway,
Ew, brother. Ew.
so I always throw them curveballs. Like one year I wanted to be a cowboy riding an ostrich, and then another year I was like I wanted to be a devil, but I wanted to be like the pitchfork with the ears and the whole thing.
Like your classic hex.
Classic, yeah.
Heck, what's it called?
The little devil heck, the Beelzebub kind of thing. Yeah. And they did it, and it was whatever. It was like terrible to wear that cap and all that, but it was great. I have pictures. I'll show you later.
Okay.
So one year I decided I want to be Mac tonight. It was when the commercials were like when the clock strikes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the suit was easy because it was just a white shirt, black slacks, and a coat and white gloves, right? But the moon, my brother made me the moon out of cardboard, and he was always been great at art. He made the face with the glasses, all cardboard, great, and I wore it. And I'm like, this is the best costume ever. I'm gonna go to McDonald's, and they're gonna be like, oh my god, they're gonna give me like a Happy Meal, or they're gonna give me like a bunch of candy and all that. So we actually went to in Bell. There was I think it was Bell. There was a McDonald's.
I think I know the one. It's the one on Florence, probably.
Yeah,
It used
Florence.
to be there, and there was a Sizzler next door to it.
That's the one.
And those are now completely and utterly gone. I used to go to that one all the
Okay,
time too.
yeah. So we went to that one, right? And I'm all excited to go in, and we're like trick or treat. Dude, the underpaid cashier just looked at me and gave me 3 of those cheap Chinese candies that just say strawberry, peach. Like those crappy little like white wrapper.
Kid, you bother me.
With the white wrapper ones with the cheap like 10-cent candy. Basically flung them in my bag. Just like I didn't even say thank you, nothing. It's just like that. That's all I got out of it. So to them,
You broke this kid's heart. Man, you could at least at the time, dude. It was 99 cents Big Macs. Remember that?
Dude, 99
99
cent everything, dude. It was 49-cent cheeseburgers, dude.
Oh man, that's a good time.
The Happy Meals were like $2.15, $1.99, $2.15.
If aliens come down, I want them to be able to answer me like, has the Big Mac recipe changed? Because I'm pretty sure it has.
No, it has. It has.
And it's so disgusting now, but there was a time when they were so delicious. I used to eat them all the time, and now like guacatela.
Plus the portions were much better.
Yeah.
I just had a Big Mac last night for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Because he had one the other day. He got one, and I got the craving. And I haven't
because
been
of the
eating
app, you
out.
can get them for free sometimes.
Yeah, that too, dude. So I went out and bought the family that, and I'm like, I ate it expecting it to be really good. It wasn't. My filet-o-fish was great though.
You know what it is? Okay, so there is something they changed about it. What they've done is now, before you used to put the because I used to work at McDonald's, so I remember the staging. You had the the tops and the crowns, and you basically had to like squirt the sauce on it, right?
I
But
bet
here's
you
the thing.
squirted.
Shut up. There was the portion was a very specific one, but now it looks like they over sauce, and it's disgusting. Here's the other thing: you put the cheese on the bottom, and then you're supposed to put the onion on top of the on top of after you put the lettuce, you're supposed to put the onion on top. Instead, now they're grilling the onion on top of the meat. You can see that because if you open up the Big Mac, you can see that the dehydrated or rehydrated onion, which are the little pieces, are on top of the meat now. So it's supposed to be better, but honestly, I think it's gross. But the two things that make it gross, one, they oversauce it. So what you should do is when you go to get a Big Mac, ask them if they can be a little easier on the sauce, and two, ask them for no onion.
Oh, interesting.
Try that. I think that might be good.
I'll try that next time. I don't eat out often anymore. Like I really don't. Like that was the first time we ate out in like months because of the fact that it's so expensive and it's not worth it. Every single time we've eaten out, it's been such a disappointment. It's the point of fast food before used to be it was cheap, quick, and good. Now it's not cheap, not quick because of the big ass lines, and it's not good. So
yeah, because of those three things, you could forgive the errors and mistakes. You could forgive all that, but now you're basically paying sit down prices for something that's so aggravating because when you get it, oftentimes they mess it up.
Yeah,
it's just maddening,
dude. When we go out, it's almost like $70 to eat at McDonald's. It's like, why?
Yeah.
That is a totally brother ill. Like that's no.
Yeah.
Taco Bell used to be dirt cheap. I mean, it's still cheaper than most, but it's nowhere near how it used to be back in the days. We used to be able to eat like gourmet banquets of Taco Bell for like $5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even then we knew that like the meat in a Taco Bell like was like it wasn't very good. Like I knew that. I knew it wasn't like.
But it was cheap.
But it was cheap, so you were okay with that.
Yeah, nowadays it's like...
Yeah, so again, UFOs, man, you guys come on down. Let's help us fix this problem, guys.
It's a sucker.
And so, by the way, the Mac and ET question. Okay, so, dude, I never liked ET. Growing up, I was never a fan of ET. I found that alien premise to be stupid. And Mac, by the way, the cheap McDonald's knockoff of
ET.
Yeah, because Mac.
That's what it is. Yeah,
McDonald's funded that.
That's why it's called Mac. They were trying to get into the movie business, and that was their first attempt.
So bad. And what I always remember, and will always remember, and it's funny that you brought that up because you were talking Conan O'Brien. Is anytime that he had Paul Rudd on, like he was like, "Oh, let's show you footage of." I got some footage from my new movie, and it's always that scene of
him going down the hill.
On the wheelchair.
And then the girl going like, wait, because they did not cut it. They did not edit it properly. So you hear it go, wait. And then she starts running down the hill. And then the dummy going over the hill. He would get him and that was true. It wasn't like a skit. It was true that he was getting him every single time. And he even told him like when he got for Avengers and then he was like, I have a new clip from Ant-Man. He's like, dude, you're going to do it to me. He's like, no, for real. It's like, Marvel won't let me do it. They said that I'm going to get in trouble if I don't. And he still played the freaking clip, which is this clip.
Yeah, dude, we got to figure that out. At some point we need to, because you know what, this show, if it's going to grow, like it's, you know, we got to do what people have been doing for 15 years now, is actually integrate video into it. They have something called money. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Can you please give us money? I want money.
And on that note,
I promise.
Buy some of our merchandise. We promise we'll put it into we'll put it into our setup.
Time.
Crap in a hat.
Crap in a hat.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. That's some pretty good alliteration, dude. You did that?
Yeah.
Man, this guy's a genius.
Mm-hmm. Genius.
Oh man, this guy's smart. Love it. Mug life.
Yeah. If you click on any of these,
please do.
If you click on any of these, you can buy a mug, a t-shirt, and there's a bunch of other stuff on there.
It's OUCHCAST.com. Mm-hmm. Okay, remember that. OUCHCAST.com. Be the first thing that pops up if you Google us.
Yeah.
And forget, if there's a second OUCHCAST, man, they're ripping us off, man. We got to sue those guys.
We were around first, so.
Yeah, so hey, we're coming for you,
but
OUCHCAST wannabes.
But they got money, so whatever.
Yeah, anyways, but you know what, man? No, but we have the law on our side.
And on that note, don't get anal probed by an alien unless you like it.
And ET phone home. Get a grip.
Get a grip. And remember,
sort yourself out, mate.
Thank you for joining us. And good night and good luck. No, I'm just kidding. Remember, never make eye contact while eating a banana. Peace.
Mug life.